Hello, welcome to Fighters Only TV. I'm John Joe Regan. I'm here with the Count, Michael Bisping. Mike, let's start with the trend of the moment. Seems to be it's open season on Michael Bisping. A lot of people are talking about wanting to fight you. Brian Stan, Anderson said he'd welcome a fight with you. Who else was talking about you? Rivera had a few things to say. Obviously, you're fighting Rivera next. What's your take on everyone looking to fight you?
I mean, I look at it in a positive view. Brian Stan called me and Anderson Silva, as you said, but they didn't do it in a disrespectful way. Brian Stan was very respectful. Anderson Silva, he's pound for pound best in the world, and he said some complimentary things and said that, he'd like to fight me one day. So obviously, for me, I take that as a compliment. Anderson Silva, my dream is to fight him one day. Hopefully I earn the right to do that. I don't just want to have a fight with him because he wants to fight me. I want to earn the right to be #1 contender and fight the champion, and fingers crossed that's the plan. Brian Stan, again, no problem. He seems like a good guy, he carries himself well, had a good win against Chris Lieben, and he's looking to build on that momentum, so he's doing the right thing. You got to call people out and try and get the big fights, so fair play to him. For me, I just try and keep my nose down, keep training, keep winning fights, keep trying to get better.
Your next one is Rivera, UFC 127, yep. Australia next month. And when Rivera first started talking about you, he had a few uncomplimentary things to say, which seemed to take you by surprise a bit.
Yeah, that's right. I've never had a problem with Jorge Rivera. We're not best friends or anything like that, so I'm not going to say that. We're not even friends, but we are acquaintances. I've met him a bunch of times, always been respectful. We fought on Cage Edge back in the day on the same show one night. Yeah, I've always not a fan, but you could say a fan, in some ways. And yeah, he came out with some comments that I couldn't believe, to be honest, seemed very nasty and very personal, as if we had personal history, So I think he's been a bit unoriginal. He's jumping on the bandwagon. A lot of people, it's cool to hate me, whatever, but he has no reason or any basis for that. So maybe he should be less of a muppet or a puppet and form his own opinions, but that's great. We are fighting. It's going to be a good fight. It's going to be a tough fight. He's a veteran. He's had 30 fights in the UFC. Hits hard. You don't have 30 fights in the UFC unless you're skilled. So it's going to be good. But I'm very, very confident. I'm going into this fight very confident as always, and I'm looking to continue my winning streak and put him away.
Game plan wise, because like you see, he hits very, very hard. And I don't know, he might not be the smartest thing maybe to stand and trade with him, but at the same time you talk about it's cool to hate Bisping, and one of the things people always say is he backpedals behind his jab all the time. But game plan wise, that's probably the smartest thing to do for this particular fight.
Behind my jab, well, take a look at Akiyama's face in his last fight, and he spent 5 minutes laid on the floor because he was about to get knocked out. Dan Miller's face was like a hamburger. Dennis Khan got TKO'd. Vanderlei was nearly TKO'd, so I wouldn't say I backpedal behind my jab, far from it. Get in the ring with me and I think you'll feel differently. I could stand with Rivera if I wanted, I can take him down if I want, I can tap him out if I want, so really it's my choice what I feel on the night. We'll see what happens.
Chris Lieben as well, UFC 89, I think
Chris Lieben, yeah. There's been many people.
Extra motivation, what Rivera said?
I'm always motivated for my fights, so I don't need extra motivation. Of course, when someone's talking a bit of shit and insulting you and whatnot, and his manager weighed in on the situation as well, fires you up a little bit, and I suppose it makes it extra a little bit sweeter. But I always put tremendous pressure on myself to perform for me, my family, and my team, and my coaches. So I don't like to let people down. So I always train for every fight as if it's a world title fight.
What about the distance thing, going to Australia, time zones and a lot of travelling?
It's fine, I'm not bothered with that. I'm used to being an international fighter. I live in the UK, I've fought in America, Canada, Australia, so I'm used to that, so it's not a problem. I'm actually looking forward to it, get out there, get a bit of sunshine. Yeah. It breaks the regiment up, the same daily grind of driving down the M6 motorway. It'd be nice to get out to Sydney and mix it up a little bit, so it's nice.
Did you have a good time out there last time? Did you get a good reception off the Sydney fans?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't have said the reception was the best reception anyone's ever had out there, but I take it with a pinch of salt. I get cheered well in this country, which is fantastic. Other countries, some cheer me, some boo me. And I think that's great. As long as they're showing passion. They don't just boo. They really slag me off. So that's great. I'd rather have it that way. I don't want to walk out and the people be indifferent and just kind of do a golfer's clap. who's this guy? So it's good, I mean, we'll see. I mean, obviously I'd like to be shared, but if they're going to boo, they're going to boo. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it, and I'm certainly not going to kiss all their asses to get them to change.
What's your training camp looking like at the moment at the Wolves? Quite busy, a lot of people over for it.
Yeah, it's very good. Yeah, obviously the Wolves, there's always a lot of talent there. We've got a big Brazilian contingent there at the moment, so obviously the groundwork's getting plenty of attention. Obviously in the UK we have a lot of good striking, boxing and Thai boxing, kickboxing, whatever. So that's always the way. Few other guys coming in. We've got a couple of guys over from the States coming over. Rico Rodriguez, he landed today. He's coming over to do some business with the Wolf Slayer, and he's going to stick around for a few weeks, about 5 weeks or so, and do some training. Maybe come out to Australia. He's on a 10-fight win streak. So the guy's motivated. He's down to 220, 225, something like that, and on a 10-fight win streak. So Rico's going to be a good training partner to have around. And I mean, all in all, feeling very confident. Still 6 weeks out and feeling sharp.
2 seconds. A win puts you on a 3-fight win streak.
Yeah.
Where does that put you in terms of a title run?
A win puts me on a 3-fight win streak, and it means I've won 5 out of my last 6. Which is a bit more impressive. And the only loss was a controversial decision to Vanderlei. Honestly, I don't think beating Jorge Rivera earns me a title shot. I don't. I mean, he's a tough opponent. He's dangerous. He's a veteran. And I'm preparing accordingly. But I'm not going to start kidding myself. I don't think a win over him gets me a title shot. And even if it did, which it isn't going to, but even if it did do, logistically and timing wise, it'd be a long time before I got that shot. Anderson's fighting Vitor. The winner of that is going to fight Yushin Okami. He won a #1 contender match. So the champ's going to be free somewhere around the end of the year. If I beat Jorge, fingers crossed, God willing. And then in the summer, I'll fight a decent opponent. If I win that one, I think that should line up a title shot towards the end of the year. But, that's the end of the year. I've still got two very tough fights to get through. Yeah. But that's what I'm planning towards.
I'm personally surprised that you actually took the fight with Jorge rather than sitting out for a bit, because a lot of people, you're almost expected to win because you're higher ranked, and then if you lose, you've lost to somebody that wasn't supposed to beat you, so it's kind of a risky fight. Yeah,
it's a risky fight, but I'm a fighter. This is what we do at the end of the day. You're not going to sit around and say, no, I'm not fighting him, he's a risky fight, I'm going to wait for a worthier opponent. He's a tough guy, etc. I've said all that. But yeah, if that's who the UFC say I've got to fight, then that's who I'm going to fight. I did ask for Nate Marquardt. But they didn't want to make the fight. He's lost his last couple. Jorge Rivera, he's won his last 3 on the trot, so he's gained some momentum and he's looked good doing it. So it kind of makes sense. He's actually, when you look at it, a better opponent for me. I don't mean technically wise or anything, or stylistically. I mean, in terms of rankings and all the rest of it, Jorge Rivera's a better fight. He's coming off 3 wins. Marquardt's coming off 2 losses. Which is the better guy to fight if you want to prove yourself? I'd say the guy coming off 3 losses, and that's who I'm fighting.
Okay. Final question is the title fight we just mentioned, Anderson and Vitor. How do you see that one going?
I think predictably, early in the first round, it's got to lean towards Vitor. But if it goes past that, I'd put my money on Anderson. Anderson's proven he's a terrific champion. He's fought all different styles. I'd say I've got to go with Anderson. The only thing is, he's not Superman, and he can't win forever. At some point, he's going to lose one day. Is Vitor the man to do that? Who knows? But I'd lean towards Anderson Silva. But Vitor's a terrific fighter, so who knows?
Are you an Anderson fan?
I am an Anderson fan. Yeah, of course. Yeah, he's got a fan. He's amazing. He really is a terrific fighter, and he's great to watch. Always intriguing. Some of his performances have definitely been intriguing, but there's some fantastic skill on display, and he's very destructive. So I want to fight him. I'm certainly rooting for Anderson to win. The only time I want to fight Anderson is for the belt. I don't want Anderson to get beaten and then have to fight him for a #1 contender slot. Fuck that. If I'm fighting Anderson, it's for the belt.
All right, Mike, thanks.
I know where you're going. You try and get me to talk shit all the time, don't you? He does, Tries always to get me to talk shit.
Hello, welcome.
Take a deep breath.
What's a fuck up one?
Hello, this is Jorge Rivera. He's here for Fighters Only. Here to interview myself, Michael the Count Bisping on various amount of topics MMA related. John, would you like to take it from here?
I'd love to, yeah.
Have you composed yourself?
Very much so.
Okay,
Ready to go.
let's go.